So this is pretty interesting. Just a little bit ago, the MLK, Martin Luther King Labor Council, expels the Seattle Police Officers Guild. Don't mind the advertisements there. This is the Stranger, nice local kind of independent news source in Seattle. The MLK Labor Council voted to boot the Seattle Police Officers Guild, SPOG, from their politically powerful network of unions during a lethally tedious meeting on Wednesday evening that was blessed by Zoom-bombed anime porn. I did not get a screenshot of the moment, but my DMs are open. Then he crossed it out. Got it. A still image of the video shows a pro and asset demon-winged fox furry getting rammed from below through a tape of throbbing cock exploding with semen. Oh my goodness. Tensions ran high and an absolute disregard for the mute button reigned. Initially, the council called an up or down vote to expel, which passed, and the leaders, the Amalgamated Transit Union, i.e. Metro bus employees and the drivers, called for a new vote with an option to abstain. Those results were 53 yeas, 77 nays, 12 s. Someone then called for a roll call, which weighs the vote by the number of delegates given. The union has in the Labor Council. The results of the vote were closer. 45,435.91 delegates in favor of the boot and 36,760.23 delegates against. 0.23, that's interesting. The arguments against expelling SPOG from the council were predictable. Proponents, which included most firefighters, machinists, building trades, bakers, and most of the Metro employees, said kicking out the cops would be a hasty decision. It would amount to a slippery slope that would lead to other unions being ousted at a time. One leader said the vote represented a divide and conquer mentality that would weaken labor. A delegate for the Inland Boatmen's Union said, "Every sinners, even sinners, belong in church." Mike Solon, president of SPOG, also spoke. Well, no shit, he's going to speak against it. Spoke against the notion to expel. He said the cops had taken more from the council than we have given. In a mission he felt demonstrated his organization's willingness to learn. Other union leaders disagreed. Diana Rocha of the Library Workers argued that the slippery slope was letting SPOG into the union to begin with. She said including the police in the union hurts our ability to organize the communities we serve, a point echoed by UFC 21 Secretary Treasury Joe Mizrahi. I think that's actually a really good point. How are you going to organize and try to get more people into the union when the cops are a part of it and they're brutalizing and oppressing those same people you'd maybe like to include in the MLK Labor Council? The Seattle Education Association's Gush Webney said the cops brutalize people, and then when people come out to protest, they oppress them, and underline the fact that they're the ones who get called when we're protesting our bosses. That's a very fair point. Cops are always on the side of the capitalist owner class, and we've seen that time and time again. I mean, for fuck's sake. I'm assuming it was in New York's financial district, that little, bull statue, that's around Wall Street. Cops are protecting that, for fuck's sake. I mean, give me a break. Over the phone, Mizrahi said he thought it was telling that the vast majority of people speaking in favor speaking in favor of expulsion were union leaders of color, while the vast majority speaking out against were not. The call to remove SPOG, which was voted in the council in 2014, organically came from rank-and-file members of color from the Highline Education Association, he said, and he hopes the victory spurs BIPOC leaders of their unions to get more involved in labor reforms. Kicking out SPOG isn't the end game, Mizrahi said. We all want to be deeply involved in what police reform looks like. We just know we couldn't be able to genuinely engage in that conversation with SPOG still in the Labor Council. Mizrahi also hopes expulsion gives the Guild a chance to reflect. Nothing about expulsion is permanent. If they make a commitment to reform, there's no reforming them. Engage with community and accept accountability measures. We'd welcome them back into the labor community, he said. With SPOG out, the police will have slightly less political leverage when they try, this is also important, when they try to skirt accountability measures in their contract negotiations. SPOG's loss might also be the council's gain. If, as Mizrahi and Rocha suggested, the council's decision not to side with the forces of structural racism attracts non-union workers of color who want to unionize, perfect. It's a win-win. Obviously, the next very important step needs to be defunding the Seattle Police Department on a massive scale, and using those massive funds. I believe the Seattle. Let's look, and a little bit. Nikita Oliver, really just amazing activist, lawyer, poet, just a lot of does a lot of amazing things in the Seattle area. Her tweet on it. Seattle Police Officers Guild is expelled from the Martin Luther King County Labor Council. Thank you for standing on the right side of history. Indeed. And then Shama Sawant. Today, rank and file progressive unions and MLK King County Labor Council made history. We voted to expel Seattle police from our labor movement. Unions were built on the idea that an injury to one is an injury to all. All working class united against racism, police violence. Seattle, I believe it's around $300 million. Let's see. This is from King 5, a local kind of corporate media source. Come on. Come on. Jesus.
Yeah, Jessica, there is a review of the Seattle police budget going on right now in a...
I don't need to hear you. $409 billion. Jesus Christ. 400. Let's just do Seattle's budget overall. Seattle's 2020 budget. So $409 million fucking dollars. Which is just insane. When we have, huge lack of affordable housing, we got homeless people, we got a lot of schools falling apart, people need high-paying jobs, people need healthcare, housing, etc. I mean, come on. What is this? Why is it not coming up? Huh. Where's the cops budget? I ain't seen you. Where the fuck are you? Public safety. So I meant looks like that would include like firefighters and EMS and stuff, but I mean, just look at that. Education, health, and human services. We spend more on fucking police department in Seattle than education, health, and human services. You want to fight? You want to reduce crime? You want to fight crime? You want to make it so people don't have to commit crimes? Invest in education, health, human services, housing, neighborhood development, arts, culture, and recreation. Invest more in public transportation. Again, basically any use of this massive bloated Seattle police budget would be better spent in other areas. So kudos to the MLK Labor Council for voting out SPOG. The next step, Seattle police need to be at the minimum, massively defunded. Peace. Much love.